Today I will be talking over internal ear, which is a deepest part of ear and is connected to middle ear, responsible for hearing and balancing under the following headings: introduction, bony labyrinth, membranous labyrinth, vestibulocochlear nerve, the nerve pathway, cochlear nerve pathway and vestibular nerve pathway, and clinical anatomy. So let's begin the topic. See, this is a cut section. This is a cut section of skull, a superior view. Here we can see the floor of cranial cavity, where we can see this structure is the internal ear. This internal ear we can see on both the side, right side as well as left side. So as we know, so this is an anterior cranial fossa, this one is middle cranial fossa, and this one is posterior cranial fossa. Clear? And here this is the foramen magnum. Foramen magnum. So this internal ear is present in middle cranial fossa and in-house in the temporal, in this temporal bone, a petrous part of temporal bone. Clear? This is present in petrous part of temporal bone. Now this section of from here to here, this has been enlarged in this way. Here it has been enlarged to show you its relation with external, with relation with the middle ear. Let's see the external ear first. See, as you all know, this is the point where is external auditory meatus is present, and this is the external ear. Clear? So this is the external ear. Now here the external ear, then middle ear. We can see this middle ear. So this is the middle ear. From this middle ear, a tube-like passage running in a direction anteriorly. This is known as Eustachian tube. Eustachian tube. And another, a sac-like structure which is present posterior-inferiorly. So this is posterior-inferiorly. This is known as mastoid ear cell. Mastoid ear cell present posterior-inferiorly. So this is the middle ear. This one is the middle ear. Now we can see this internal ear. This is known as cochlea. So this is the cochlea. This is known as vestibule. Clear? This is known as vestibule, vestibule, and these three structure you can see, one is moving laterally, this one is laterally, then this one is moving anterior-superiorly, and this one is posteriorly. These three structures are known as semicircular canal. They are known as semicircular canal. Clear? And what we see here, this is a nerve. Clear? This nerve is moving from, it's running through this structure is known as internal acoustic meatus. Is known as internal acoustic meatus. Clear? Now in this internal acoustic meatus, so this vestibulocochlear nerve and the facial nerves are running in this external acoustic meatus. Let me draw in different color to show you. One nerve is seventh cranial nerve. So this seventh cranial nerve, this is the facial one. This facial nerve, this nerve has no role with the internal ear. It just simply passes here this way over the cochlea, then take turn posteriorly and move posteriorly. Later on, through this mastoid foramen, it moves out of the cranial cavity. This one, seventh cranial nerve. Another is the eighth cranial nerve, vestibulocochlear nerve. So this seventh is the facial. Another is the eighth cranial nerve, known as vestibulocochlear nerve. So vestibulocochlear nerve, this part is the cochlear part and this part is the vestibular part. The vestibular part. This cochlear part enters in this cochlea through the base of the medullus. What is the medullus? That we will talk in the topic. So let's understand it enter in the cochlea through the base of the medullus and later on innervate the structure in the cochlea, whereas this part, this is the cochlear part. So this is the cochlear part, whereas this is the vestibular part. This one is the vestibular part. This innervate the vestibule and semicircular canal. Clear? Now let's get the relation of this internal cochlear, this internal ear with the middle ear. So this part, which is the cochlear one, this is the apex. This is the apex of this. So this is directed anteriorly. So it is present anteriorly, whereas this middle part, which is known as vestibular part, is present medial to the middle ear. Clear? whereas these three semicircular canal, this and this three semicircular canal, they are present posterior to the middle ear. This is anterior view to show you this external ear, which is this external ear, and this pink color is the middle ear, and this light blue color is the inner ear, and this is that we have seen earlier is the eustachian tube, and this eustachian tube, it's open in pharynx. Clear? It's open in the pharynx. Clear? See, this is an external ear. The sound wave enter through this, and so this external ear and passes through this external auditory canal, and comes in contact with this tympanic membrane here, at this tympanic membrane of the middle ear. This sound wave having a mechanical energy which pass through the membrane to these ear ossicles. These ear ossicles, malleus, incus and stapes. The bones are present in this ear ossicle, and this stapes is here. So you can see here is a window, which is an oval window. Here the stapes is present. Clear? Over this oval window, and this mechanical energy is transferred over from this stapes to the oval window to the fluid which is present in this internal ear. Clear? So what is present in this? Fluid is present. The fluid is present in this. The fluids are perilimb and endolimb. Perilimb and endolimb. So this energy, mechanical energy, is transferred to this fluid perilimb. Clear? And this energy which has been transferred to the perilimb, later on energy will transfer to this endolimb, and this mechanical energy will change to the electrical energy as an action potential in this. That we will see how in the later in the slide. So the frequency what our ear can hear is 20 Hertz to 20,000 Hertz, and the average is 300 to 3000 in our normal speech. If somebody is shouting a lot, then the frequency will be 20,000. Shouting very much, then it will be 20,000. Then if somebody is very much, and according to the voice, the frequency varies. Clear? This is the internal ear. We can see this outer part. This is an outer part. This all are the outer part. This is bony in nature. So this is known as bony labyrinth. Clear? And inside to this bony part is a membranous part. This here also. This is the membranous part known as membranous labyrinth. Clear? This bony labyrinth and membranous labyrinth inside here, they have fluid. So the fluid is present in this. What kind of fluid? So first they have One is the perilimb and another is the endolimb. Clear? So this perilimb is present between the bone and membrane. Clear? Whereas endolimb is present between the membrane and membrane. And here what we see, these are the nerve. So these nerves are running in this structure is the internal auditory canal, is known as internal auditory canal, and through the internal auditory meatus. So this nerve which is innervating, this is known as this 8th cranial nerve as well as 7th cranial nerve. They are running in this internal auditory canal. So this one which is innervating this vestibule, this is the vestibule, and these are 1, 2 and 3. All these are the semicircular canal. Semicircular canal. And this part of the internal ear is known as cochlea. Clear? So the nerve which is innervating the membranous part here in the vestibule and in the semicircular canal is known as vestibular nerve, and the nerve which is innervating to this cochlea is known as cochlear nerve. Cochlear nerve. And this nerve which has no any role with the internal ear is known as facial nerve. Clear? Clear? This is the bony labyrinth. So this bony labyrinth, it forms an outer bony cage for membranous labyrinth, and we study this bony labyrinth in it has 3 parts. One is cochlea, the cochlea, this in yellow color, and vestibule in green color, semicircular canal in blue color. So these are the parts of the bony labyrinth, and here we can see the window. This is an oval window. So this is an oval window. This oval window is covered by the bone stapes. The stapes cover this oval window, whereas this is the round window is here, this round window, and this round window is all over covered by here as a membrane. Membrane cover this round window. Now we will understand each part of this bony labyrinth in detail. So first we will talk about the cochlea. This cochlea is externally, how it looks and what are the features. So let's understand the cochlea. See this cochlea, it is a conical in shape. Here you can see this is conical in shape as a shell of snail. You know the snail, so its shape is as a shell of snail. It has got an apex. See here, see, this is an apex. So here is an apex and here is the base. Clear? So this is the point of the apex. So this apex is directed forward. You can see it is directed forward and it is directed laterally. Clear? So it is directed forward and laterally toward this middle ear. Whereas you can see its base, which is here. Here is the base. This base faces this internal acoustic meatus. Clear? This structure, which has apex and base, is known as medullus. This structure, which is having apex and base, is known as medullus. Now let's try to see how this you can see this spiral structure, which is known as cochlear canal, how this is arranged over the modulus. So let's try to see. This is the conical shape structure, is known as modulus. This is known as modulus. This is known as modulus. Clear? Now this is the apex. This is an apex and this is the base. Clear? So this is the point. This is the point, is known as copula. This is the cocula. So this is the point which is copula, from where this cochlear canal spiral turn start. So it's making a spiral turn and it makes like this. This is the spiral turn, and this spiral turn finally it makes a 2.5. It makes 2.5 spiral turn. Clear? And finally this is the point where this cochlear canals end in the vestibule. Clear? This is the base from where this nerve, cochlear nerve, enter in the modulus, and later on it gives its peripheral branch in the cochlear canal for hearing. Let's see and try to understand other fine detail of this cochlea. So now you are aware of, you know what is the modulus. So this is the modulus. Clear? This is the modulus, and this modulus here, it gives a small bony projection, bony outgrowth. This is a small bony outgrowth. This small bony outgrowth is known as spiral lamina. Is known as spiral spiral lamina, this one. Now see, this is the canal. This is the canal. Clear? So let's try to understand carefully. With the full concentration. So this here see, we are on the most puzzling part of the lecture, and we will just try to focus over the things what I am drawing very much carefully, because this will let you to understand how the this transmission of the sound wave from that enters from the external ear to middle ear to the internal ear in the different chambers. So means the chambers in which these sound waves enter and transmit its mechanical energy later on in the electrical energy. Clear? So now we will understand this, what is helicotrema. We will see how these three chambers are formed. Now just focus over what I am drawing. See, now you are very well know what is the modulus. So you are aware of this modulus, and see this, I am drawing the modulus. This is the modulus, and here is the apex of the modulus, and later on this is the base of the modulus. Clear? So a small bony outgrowth known as spiral lamina. This small bony outgrowth known as spiral lamina. This is the small bony outgrowth which is known as spiral lamina. Before this, see, as now you are aware of, this is the cochlear canal, and in this cochlear canal, this is the outer wall. This is the outer wall, and this one is the inner wall. Clear? This is the inner wall. Now this inner wall is facing toward the modulus. Now from the surface of this modulus, this a bony part, it projects like this way, and this part is the base of the spiral lamina, and later on this spiral lamina, what it do, it divide this cochlear canal partially. So what it is doing, it is dividing this cochlear canal partially. Later on, here at the apex, this is the apex of this spiral lamina. From this, the free end of this spiral lamina, two membrane like structure known as raciner membrane. Let me draw. So from this free end, one membrane which is present superiorly, this membrane is known as racinous membrane. So here already it is written racinous membrane. So this is the racinous membrane. Clear? One another membrane let me draw a different color. Keep it in this color, this one. Now this another membrane, this membrane is basilar membrane. Clear? This membrane is the basilar membrane. So thus basilar membrane is inferiorly present and racinal membrane is superiorly present. So this membrane, this racinal membrane is also known as vestibular membrane. Clear? So this racinal membrane is making a one compartment. This compartment is known as, see, this compartment is scala vestibuli. This is scala vestibuli. I have written in a short form SV. And this basilar membrane, which is dividing here and making another compartment inferiorly, this compartment is known as scala tympani. ST, write it down in ST, scala tympani. Clear? Now here at this point, this is another ligament. Let me draw in another color. Keep it in green. Now this here, a membrane like structure is formed. This membrane like structure is known as spiral ligament. This is known as spiral ligament. And over this spiral ligament here at there, these all are stria. These are all vascularis. So this stria vascularis is here. Is as, let me write down this stria vascularis. This stria vascularis, they form that fluid, this endolymph. So endolymph is formed by stria vascularis. Now we can see here total 3 chamber. One chamber is scala vestibuli. Scala vestibuli is between this bone and the membrane, this racinus membrane, and another compartment is scala tympani, is between the bone and the basilar membrane. Clear? And the third chamber, this is known as, this chamber, which is this one, triangular, this chamber is known as scala media. Is known as scala media. Clear? This scala media. So endolymph is present in scala media, whereas these two chambers, they have the fluid known as perilymph. They have what? The scala vestibuli they have, and scala tympani they have perilymph. Perilymph. Clear? In SV and ST, scala vestibuli and scala tympani. So this perilymph, this fluid is formed by the CSF influx and major part is formed by the blood flow in this cochlea, by the blood flow in the cochlea. This is an extracellular fluid. So later in the coming slide you will know actually this perilymph which is in this chamber, later on by this endolymphatic duct they drain in the CSF. So that we will come to know in the coming slide. So here just understand this perilymph present in these scala vestibuli and scala tympani, and this is formed by influx of CSF and the blood flow. Clear? This triangular scala media, which is attached with the free end of this spiral lamina dividing this cochlear canal, rather to say it is dividing partially, this cochlear canal. Actually here what we see, this is the scala media, and the scala media is which is formed over this free end of this spiral lamina. It's running in all the course of this spiral structure of the cochlea, this way, it's running all the way. But when it reaches near to the apex, here near to the apex, there is no any, so near the apex there is no any, you won't see this spiral lamina. So a spiral lamina is absent near to the apex, so this limit the lengthening of the further the lengthening of this scala media near the apex. Now the scala media end near the apex, so this scala media, it means scala media not completely dividing this cochlear canal. Let me show you how. See here, see this is the, here we see this is the cochlear canal which is spiraled like this way. So if I open, say if I open this spiraling structure of the cochlear canal, so it will be somewhat like this, the structure which has been spiraled. So if I straighten this structure, this canal, it will be somewhat like this in the length, and from this point, so here to here, the structure which is dividing this conical structure, this conical triangular, this triangular scala media dividing the structure, but when it is reaching near to the apex, so it limited to up to this length only. Clear? So that's why this upper, so this chamber is scala vestibuli and the lower chamber is scala tympani. This chamber, this one, scala media, this one is the scala media, SM, writing in a short form SM. So the sound wave when enter in the scala vestibuli, say the sound wave is entering in the scala vestibuli like this, so from here the sound wave will move in this direction. Now the sound wave will move this way, the sound wave will move in this way. Clear? So this region from here to here, this region means, I should draw this region in a different color. See, let me take this region. So this region from here to here, clear? Because this scala media is limited up to here, so this region is free. So okay, so this region which is near to this apex is known as helicotrema. Clear? What is helicotrema? This is the helicotrema. Clear? So the sound wave which enter from this chamber, scala vestibuli, clear, this way it will from this it is going this way, it will go this way, the scala vestibuli this way, and there is no any partitioning. Now it means this chamber, both this upper scala vestibuli and scala tympani are connected at this point. Now the sound wave from here, it will move to the other chamber. So let me draw another color. So now the sound wave, after reaching to this point, it will goes to the this side, like this, and run in this direction. This way and this way. Clear? Already I have explained the internal of this cochlea in the earlier slide, where I was explaining the external structure of the cochlea. So I don't go further in this. See, just only see the structures. You can see this pink one. This is the scala media, how it is running this way, spiraling all this way, all this way, all this way. But when it reaches to near to this apex, now the length is limited here up to here only. Clear? And we can see these two chambers, the superior chamber, scala vestibuli, and the inferior chamber, scala tympani. The same thing here, it is in a cross section way. We can see the chambers. Clear? No need of talking the same thing here. Now we will see and understand vestibule externally. We can see the walls of the vestibule. This wall, this one, is the lateral wall. Clear? This I am writing in form of L. This is a lateral wall, whereas this is the superior one. Write down in S. Whereas this wall, which is facing toward this vestibular nerve, this wall is the medial wall. Clear? And this wall, which is facing toward this semicircular canal, is the posterior wall. Is the posterior wall. Whereas this wall, which is placed inferiorly, which is facing toward the petrous part of the temporal bone, this one is an inferior wall. I am writing in terms of I, inferior one. Now let's try to see all these walls one by one. First, we see this lateral wall. Clear? This is the lateral wall which faces toward the middle ear, and it has an opening known as, this is opening is known as oval window. Clear? Let me change the color. This one, this color. So this is the oval window, whereas this, over this oval window, stapes, the foot of the stapes, this is the stapes, foot of the stapes rest over it. Clear? And this foot of the stapes which is resting over this over window, at the end, these are the two ends, but at this end it has got an elastic tissue. It has got what? Elastic tissue which bind, which hold this stapes with the vestibule. I will tell you the importance of this elastic tissue later. So here we have seen this lateral wall. Behind it is connected by this lateral semicircular canal. Clear? It is connected by, whereas this anterior superior wall has been connected by this anterior semicircular canal, whereas this posterior wall, so this posterior wall is got connected with one end of this lateral semicircular canal. Clear? One end of this end. So the posterior walls get connected with one end of this lateral semicircular canal, one end of the posterior semicircular canal, whereas the other end of the posterior semicircular canal get united with the one end of this anterior semicircular canal, which is turning like this. So both this end, this posterior semicircular canal's one end and the other end of this anterior semicircular, they unite with each other and get connected with the posterior wall. So all these semicircular canals which are connecting on the posterior wall. Clear? And this medial wall, see, this medial wall has been facing, this medial wall is facing the internal acoustic meatus. This internal acoustic meatus, this. Clear? Whereas the inferior wall, this one, so this faces toward the petrous part of the temporal bone. Clear? Now understand the importance of this elastic tissue which is connecting this foot of the stapes, here, this end with this end here and this end here at the oval window. So what happened? The sound wave which are coming through this middle ear, it hit this foot of the stapes. As a result, this foot of the stapes vibrate. So it vibrate and transfer its energy, its mechanical energy, to the fluid in this chamber. So this chamber means this chamber is scala vestibuli. So the energy transferred to the fluid in the scala vestibuli. Later on, this energy is transferred from the scala vestibuli to the fluid in this scala media, and later on responsible for the hearing. So what happened, as the age proceed, the elasticity of this tissue decreases. So elasticity decreases. As the result of this, the foot of the stapes which was vibrating forcefully, it won't able to vibrate. So less impact on the fluid, so hearing decreases. Clear? Now we will see the interior of the vestibule. See, this is the vestibular crest. So this is the vestibular crest, which is a bony growth. This is the vestibular growth, which is a bony growth, vestibular crest. So this split the vestibule. So it's splitting the vestibule in anterior. See, this is the vestibule this way, this way. So splitting this vestibule here. This is the anterior spherical. This is the anterior spherical recess. So this is anterior superior spherical recess, and this posterior superior elliptical recess. Whereas here this is the cochlear recess. Clear? So all this, see, so this is the spherical recess, this spherical recess, this elliptical recess, and this one, inferior one, is the cochlear recess. All these recesses, you can see, they have a perforation. See, all these have a perforation. All these have a perforation. So they have a perforation for nerve fiber. This here in this elliptical recess, you can see another big opening. You can see here is a big internal opening of vestibular aqueduct. This opening is for endolymphatic duct. This endolymphatic duct carry this perilymph. Clear? This carry perilymph here toward the CSF. Now semicircular canal. So we can see the semicircular canal, anterior, lateral and posterior. Clear? So each canal is making 2/3 of a circle, and they are dilated at the point where they are communicating with the interior of the vestibule. So these are dilation portion of this semicircular canal is known as ampulla. Clear? So just see first this semicircular canal. This lateral semicircular canal is placed horizontal. It's placed horizontally. It is placed, and this is parallel to the petrous part of temporal bone. Whereas this anterior and posterior, they are like this way and another is this way. So this posterior as well as anterior, they are perpendicular. They are perpendicular to the petrous part of temporal bone. Clear? This anterior and the posterior semicircular canal, here we can see they get united before opening in the vestibule. This part, which is known as, after the union of this anterior and posterior semicircular canal, is known as crus commune. communae. Clear? Crus communae. So in this vestibule, interior of the vestibule, and in this ampulla, following structure we see which are important. So in this recess and in the ampulla, important structure of the membranous labyrinth are, so in this spherical recess is sacculae in the spherical recess. In elliptical recess is utricle. In cochlear recess, extension of this cochlear duct. Here in the ampulla, so in the ampulla, see, in this ampulla is cristae. These important membranous labyrinth structures in house in this region. Remaining part of this lecture will be covered in part 2.